So are we live? I believe we are live. Tom Cassidy here, Reasonable Wealth Project. We're on week 8. Week 8 starts tomorrow, and week 8 is about invoking all power. This is going to be a lot easier than you think. It's going to be a lot easier to get what you want out of life when you want the right stuff, because you don't have to do all the work. You just do your bit, and the universe does the rest for you. And that's the beautiful thing. It's really, really nice. But the algorithm for this, to invoke all power, is to go from working in the me to working in the we. And that isn't a lame urinary joke. That is the M spins 180 degrees, M becomes a W, the we, the working for all of us. It's the greater life for all. Bring more life to all in what you do, remembering that you are part of all. So when you bring more life to yourself, you have necessarily increased the average of life to everybody on the planet. If you can bring more life to all and less to none, you're doing a great thing. So I'm going to kind of skip through this relatively quickly for a number of reasons. One, because I want to get onto the particular chapters in Wattle's book, The Science of Getting Rich, which is the fundament of all the stuff that we're dealing in the Reasonable Wealth program. And I also don't want to be up too late tonight, because I'm 46 tomorrow. It's my birthday. Very excited about that. I feel amazing. I've had a wonderful day. It was my son Sam's 5th birthday today, and we got up early. We actually went to church. We haven't been there for a little while because of the baby and stuff, and we showed baby Theo to a bunch of people there. Then we went to a farm and spent the day in the farm mucking about, and then we went to a mock Texas kind of cowboy restaurant. It was amusing. We're sitting right by a table where there's a kind of a wanted dead or alive poster, and it's like Butch Cassidy. And it's like great, he's a fucking cowboy. I can't escape this stuff. It's wonderful. But anyway, Butch Cassidy, the wanted dead or alive poster for Butch was the details were he'd apparently it's held up a bank and stolen over $20,000, and there was a $1,000 reward. And I was thinking, okay, $20,000, that probably was quite a lot of money. This is, I don't know when Butch Cassidy was around, mid 19th century. $20,000, that would have been a stupid amount of money. So I'll probably get to find out exactly what that was worth in today's dollars. But it was fun. It was we got back only a little while ago. We had a bit too much to eat. I was doing my Reasonable Eating weekly launch just a minute ago, actually, and I was saying that, every so often we are going to have a party, and if we eat habitually really well, then it's fine to actually every so often with friends to have a bit of a mild excess. It's reasonable eating. It's reasonable wealth as well. We want to be wealthy in a way that is reasonable, that fits, that doesn't involve us being obsessed by money, doesn't involve us being obsessed by wealth totally to the detriment of our lives. You could say, well, I'm bringing more life to all, I'm raising all this money, doing wonderful things and giving lots of money to the poor and all that sort of stuff. But if you're obsessed by it, you're not bringing more life to all, because you're bringing less life to you. By being obsessed by money, by being obsessed by wealth, it's not reasonable. It's not sustainable. You won't feel good. You won't have balance in your life and all those sorts of things. So anyway, let's get on to what I'm actually going to be citing as examples of what to do this week. I think it's really interesting. If you want to invoke all power, you have to start using the power that the universe has given you. And the power that the universe has given you is total and completely within your physical and metaphysical powers. Essentially it's within your metaphysical powers, but you've got to have your physical self operating well enough in order to be able to, have the energy to be alive and all those great things. If you're worrying about being sick all the time, if you're worrying about how you feel all the time and you're physically exhausted, then you're not going to be able to use your metaphysical powers. So that's an important part of it. Why do you think I focus on reasonable eating? Why do you think at the moment I'm alpha testing reasonable shape? and doing all these crazy things. Like in my office now, I don't have a chair. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I do have a chair. It's over here. It's down there next to the piano. I don't have a chair when I'm working at the computer. I'll just show you in case you want to actually see. I stand, I wear these reflexology shoes. All this sort of stuff. And look, this is something that I do need to sort out. You know, you can be kind of a messy dude as well. Now, I'm extremely well organized. When I get onto the computer and all that sort of stuff, I'm phenomenally well organized, and I'm just lucky to be uber productive. I get stuff done just like, I'm lucky, I guess. I'm also very deliberate in how I do things. But there's some things I'm not particularly interested in doing. That has been there since I moved into this house about 6-7 weeks ago, maybe longer. February, March, April, May. Longer than that, 12 weeks ago, 13 weeks ago. It's been there. I haven't moved it. It's half of it is Cindy's, half of it is mine. I haven't even bothered to sort it out. Why? Well, because I don't sit on that sofa, as I don't need to, and also because it's not something that I don't need the end result of having sorted that out. So I conserve my energy for where I do need the end result. And Cindy even popped in and said, yeah, we should probably do something about that this week. Yeah, why not? Actually, the only reason I think of doing something about that is for when I'm doing these things, to actually not have to think about having the angle so I can't show it to you. So, you know, it's like, oh, I can see the messy sofa, so I angle it up. You know, I really don't care. Oh, no, I do. If I'm showing people around to my office, I kind of like them to think that I'm not a completely messy bastard. And I actually think, you know what, so if I open the door and say, hey, and here's my office, obviously I direct them towards my lack of a chair and all those sorts of things, and the fact that this computer is on a printer box that's actually acting as a much higher desk, because of course I would be down here, wouldn't I, if I was sitting down. But of course I don't particularly want people to see the messy sofa, so I should probably sort that out. That's something I'll do this week. You know, I did have, well, Cindy had a baby only 10 days ago, and I did set up a blog. By the way, yeah, I've got a blog now. It's reasonability.org, or reason-ability.org, where I'm putting together all my longer form ideas. Some of the stuff that's on Google Plus as well, and I'll be posting links to that on Google Plus. But the last 10 days or so, I've been just, as well as having the baby, setting up that blog, doing all sorts of stuff. So I focus all my energy on the things that I know long term are going to be really, really beneficial for everybody. And you know what? Getting that sofa tidy is just kind of, it's a long way down the list. Okay. Right, so this week it's chapter 9 and chapter 12. Oh, now you've done both of these chapters before, which is kind of interesting. Well, of course, you know, the whole book you should already know. This 13x4 for reasonable wealth is all about reminding us of the things that we know are important in a regular enough way so that they become habits with the minimum amount of willpower required to make them habits. Now, what's really interesting about this idea of invoking all power is in your metaphysical capacity, really. And you have got way more than the powers that you would so want to have from watching, say, Star Wars, like the Jedi mind powers. You've got way greater powers than those. But it's all entirely within your own mind, within your own metaphysics, and it's all to do with your willpower and how to use your mind. And so the chapter 12 part, which is efficient action, is talking about, you know, the real reason why we invoke all power, to make all our actions on a daily basis efficient. Chapter 9 is about how you actually invoke the your component of the all power. So I'm going to shoot on to that now. You will love this. You'll really love this. I mean, I know you love this anyway, but you will really love this. Okay, so chapter 9, the important parts of this is all about willpower, and to set about getting rich in a scientific way, do not try to apply your willpower to anything outside yourself. And this is absolutely critical. I see people making mistakes over and over again with this. What they try to do is they try to think about, oh, if only they could get this person to listen to them, if only they could have a business relationship with so-and-so, if only they could interview this person, or someone, you know, like, you know, even Sam and I were joking in the chats last night about, you know, it won't be long before Oprah is calling up and asking to speak to me and, you know, find out what the Reasonability Project's all about. And I was thinking, yeah, of course that would be nice. I'm not going to deny that. If I got a phone call from Oprah right now, of course it's going to be a big deal. I'm not going to try and play that down. But really, everything that we need is within our own capacity. And we don't need anybody else to help us, really. It's all entirely within our own capacities. And he goes on to say that, look, you don't have to apply your will to anything outside of yourself. It's as flagrantly wrong to coerce people by mental power as it is to coerce them by physical power. And it's mental slavery what you're doing by trying to will it. If you are willing people to do what you want them to do, to help you, and if you're really praying for them to do stuff, then it's just not. It's not the right energy. It's not the way the universe works. Look, you do not need to apply your will to things in order to compel them to come to you. And it says that would simply be trying to coerce God and would be foolish and useless as well as irreverent. You do not have to use your willpower to conquer an unfriendly deity or to make stubborn and rebellious do your bidding. Get rich. You need only to use your willpower upon yourself. So what this means is you invoke all power through applying your willpower to yourself, to you, to what you do. So, and it's all here in this next line, when you know what to think and do, then you must use your will to compel yourself to think and do the right things. That is the legitimate use of the will in getting what you want. To use it in holding yourself to the right course. Use your will to keep yourself thinking and acting in a certain way. Right, that's it. The entirety of your success is contained in that chapter. Use your will to keep yourself thinking and acting in the certain way. And that's all you have to do. Do not project your will or your thoughts or your mind out into space to act on things or people. Keep your mind at home. It can accomplish more there than elsewhere. And this is just so beautiful. It's like you have greater than Jedi mind powers, but that you can access by keeping your mind at home, working on the things that you want your mind to be working on. It's your job as the master of your will to notice what you're thinking about and use your willpower to direct your thinking onto what you want to be thinking about. It's basically in the my way of approaching it, you know, that my mentor Richard Wilkins has taught me. It's like, notice what you're thinking about, notice what energy you've got, notice where your attention is going, and then say, well, is that helpful? No. Okay, well, what would you do that might be more helpful? Use then that awareness to put into the sausage machine the things that you want to be doing, the things that you want to be thinking about. It's exactly what Wattles is saying here. It's just like, okay, notice what you're putting in. So you ask yourself, what am I putting in to this project, to my future, to my relationship, to my whatever, to my coaching business? What am I putting in? Okay, I'm putting in certainty. Great, fantastic. Oh, I'm putting in anxiety. Okay, is that helpful? No. Would you choose it? No. What might be more helpful? Certainty. Great. Use your willpower to direct you to put the good stuff into the sausage machine. That is the legitimate use of the will. It's okay to be in this script. It's absolutely fine. And there's nothing wrong with being in it, and you're going to go in it. But whenever you do notice that you're in it, use your willpower to say, hey, stop, go to work. Go to use the sausage machine the way you want to. Oh, but I'm not doing it. Fine, that's fine. Feel bad, that's fine. That's the script, absolutely. But as soon as you notice, oh, would I choose to feel, is it helpful? No. What might be more helpful? Feeling good. Okay, what's going to get me to my vision faster? Oh, right, feeling good. Now, what if you say, oh, getting quite excited now, so I'm drinking water. What if you say, oh yeah, oh, I know what I should be doing, but I'm not? That's okay. It's your script. Would you choose to be doing what you should be doing, what you know you should be doing? Yes. Okay, right. So use your will. Now that you've noticed that it's your script, use your will to say, okay, fine. I know it's my script. I know it's not me. So what I can do is I can just say, oh, bingo, I'm just going to put the good stuff in. Are you going to get good at it immediately? No. Are you going to get better at it immediately? Yes. That's the difference. You don't have to get good, you just have to get better. Because if you get better, gradually, get better at noticing. If you get better at your awareness, if you get better at, oh, is it helpful or not? Yeah, not really that helpful. Okay. Yeah, oh, I'm thinking about myself. My script's kicking me, my script's giving me a beating. Oh, you know, this is, oh, I wish I didn't have so much script. Okay, notice, is it helpful to wish you didn't have as much script? No, you've got the script that you've got. You've got the going into the script that you've got already. It's not helpful to wish you had a different scenario. It's not helpful for you to wish you had anything different. It's helpful for you to notice and then say, okay, use my will, the legitimate use of the will, to get your mind to focus on what you want, to put the good stuff in the sausage machine. Okay, so what is thinking in the right way? It's the more steady and continuous your faith and purpose, the more rapidly you'll get rich. Okay. So you think about what you want, not what you don't want. The visualization, put into the sausage machine what you want. You don't put into the sausage machine, oh, I want to be rich. No, because then you'll just get wanting to be rich out the other. You put in, isn't it awesome, the fact that I am incredibly wealthy? Isn't it awesome that I'm repaying the universe for its investment in me? Isn't it awesome? This is flipping great. I've got the perfect life. I've just got absolutely everything. This is just so good. I feel great. I've got the feelings of awesomeness right away. And that's what I'm putting in the sausage machine. Whether I have the financial picture in my life right now, the ability to do things with the money right now or not, doesn't matter. I'm going straight to the feelings. You know, the old YouTube thing. Straight to the feelings, putting in awesomeness, putting in my vision, putting in how awesome my vision is, putting in that I've got it now and that life is awesome and I've got the feelings of success, the feelings of awesomeness, putting that in there, and the other component of invoking all power is actually doing something about it, acting with faith and purpose. So if you think about this, then the picture of your desires held with faith and purpose is taken up by the formless and permeates it to great distances throughout the universe, for all I know. For all Wattles know, he didn't know anything, but he didn't know everything. You know, he knew quite a few things, but didn't know everything. It could be permeating throughout the entire universe. So as this impression spreads, all things are set moving towards its realization. Every living thing and every inanimate thing, and the things yet uncreated. So you've got a plethora of things in the universe that are doing your will, that are doing your bidding, that are going to be stirred towards bringing into being that which you want. All force begins to be exerted in that direction. All things begin to move towards you. The minds of people everywhere are influenced toward doing the things necessary to the fulfilling of your desires, and they work for you unconsciously. So that's how you invoke all power. You do what you need to do to direct your willpower. You notice, and you use your will. You use your will to direct your attention to putting the good stuff into the sausage machine. The clarity in your vision, then the acting with faith and purpose. And just believing and having faith and doing what you can every day, and no more and no less. And this is it. All force begins to be exerted in that direction, and all things begin to move towards you. So you don't have to do that difficult work. Business is not a struggle when you do it right. My life is not a struggle. My life is awesome, stupidly awesome. There's lots of things in it that aren't the way I'd like them to be. You know, I was talking in the chats about the fact that my eldest son was 18 on Friday. I haven't seen him since 2006. You know, we're not going to get into that now. But there are many things that in my life are not the way I'd like them to be. But my life is awesome. It is not a struggle. It is incredible. I bring joy into hundreds and hundreds, thousands and tens of thousands of people's lives. How much fun do you think that is? It's flipping awesome. You know, where we're going, those of you who stay with me, where we're going together is just, it really does make me draw a breath. It is breathtaking to think about where we're going to be in a year, 5, 10 years time. You know, when I first set up this idea of the 13-year project, I thought, you know, this is a little bit crazy, but this isn't This is the shortest time scale that I can talk to people about where they actually believe that it's going to be real. If I started talking about the 50-year time scale, they'd be saying, yeah, well, I don't want to wait till I'm 80 or something like that to be wealthy. Well, of course, you don't wait till you're 80, but we're just thinking about everything that we're doing on a 50, 100, 500-year time scale, because we're thinking about the future for ourselves. And reasonable wealth, my definition, borrowing from Buckminster Fuller, is that when you can create life support to a great standard for an infinite number of people for an infinite number of forward days, then you're pretty wealthy, right? Now, you could say infinite number of people is less important. You could say, well, just the people that are, more than I will produce myself within a reasonable amount of time. So more than yourself and your family and your loved ones and your cousins and things like that. If you can provide for a huge number of people for an infinite number of forward days based on the value that you've given to the entire world, then that's pretty reasonable. Now, it might take you 13 years to do it. It might take you 5 years to do it. It might take you 30 years to do it. Who knows? Everyone's got a different idea of what reasonable wealth is. But the point is, when you think about where we're going to be, when you think about looking back, what you've done, if you just skip forward even 5 years and think back how you've changed in that 5-year period, how you've changed in ability to notice, in your awareness, in your ability to put the good stuff into the sausage machine and to notice when it's the script choosing for you, choosing what to put in. I mean, this is why the real work that we're doing is bringing more life to all, greater life for all. Anyway, I get too excited. Okay, so that's really it. Focus on the good stuff. Don't get distracted by all the negative things. He goes on in chapter 9 to say some really, really good stuff. If you want to become rich, you must not make a study of poverty. Things are not brought into being by thinking about their opposites. Health is never to be attained by studying disease and thinking about disease. Righteousness is not to be promoted by studying sin and thinking about sin. And no one ever got rich by studying poverty and thinking about poverty. This is really interesting. Because what I want you to do is skip right down to the end. Don't even worry about charity. Don't even worry about all these things. But get rich and yourself. That is the best way that you can help the poor. So when we talk about this idea of working in the we and not in the me, I'm kind of telling you to do the opposite of what you might intuitively think to do. I'm telling you the best way you can work in the we is to get wealthy, but getting wealthy in the right way. If you can get rich and bring great wealth to yourself and to your loved ones and bring great life support for a number of forward days to a great number of people, then you are helping by inspiring people. You're helping by the ideas that you've brought. You're helping by the role model. Look, poverty cannot be done away with by increasing the number of well-to-do people who think about poverty. It can only be done away with by increasing the number of poor people who purpose with faith to get rich. The poor do not need charity, they need inspiration. So when you work for the we, you mustn't work in the you, I'm going to sacrifice everything to help you guys. What you've got to do is say, look, you've got to inspire people. Inspiration will cause them to rise out of their misery. If you want to help the poor, genuinely want to help people, demonstrate to them that they can become rich. Prove it by getting rich yourself. The only way in which poverty will ever be banished from this world is by getting a large and constantly increasing number of people to practice the teachings of this book. People must be taught to become rich by creation, not competition. And this is it. This is the kind of the summary of why, when it's working in the we and when it's working in the me. Every man who becomes rich by competition throws down the ladder behind him by which he rises and keeps others down. But every man who gets rich by creation opens a way for thousands to follow him and inspires them to do so. Okay. So that's chapter 9. Basically, it's how to use the will. Now, the other part of this week's focus is chapter 12, and it's to do with invoking all power. And it's really the second half. I mean, it's all of chapter 12, but particularly the second half of chapter 12. Right. Basically, power is at your service. And if you're going to be efficient, you'll have to do it by invoking all power. So you only have to put your power into it. And how do you do that? Every action is strong when you're acting in a certain way. And if you do every strong action, you'll be acting in a certain way will make you rich. And how do you do it? Every act can be made strong and efficient by holding your vision while you're doing it and putting the whole power of your faith and purpose into it. So first of all, you've got to realize that you've got the ability and the power to control where your attention is and what you're putting in the sausage machine. That's what your will is for. That's why the 13x4 is so awesome, because it's the minimum willpower system. You need to use your willpower to get you to focus on the weekly thing, at a time, and you will develop your willpower. It's not a zero willpower system, because if it's a zero willpower system, in 13 years' time, you might have some good results, but you won't have increased your willpower. What I want you to do is become better at bringing into reality the things that you want to bring into reality. So I want you to become better at using your willpower. I want you to flex that muscle. So it's important that you realize that this is a minimum will system, not a zero will system. As you get better in a minimum will system, you realize the importance of the will and the importance of focusing on what you want and not what you don't want. Now, I'm going to skip right to the end because I think that we've done this. We've done long enough. It's nearly half an hour. Here we go. Right. Okay. This is kind of how the remaining piece in the puzzle for invoking all power. In saying that you must hold your vision while you're doing each act, however trivial or commonplace, I do not mean to say that it is necessary at all times to see the vision distinctly to its smallest details. It should be the work of your leisure hours to use your imagination on the details of your vision and to contemplate them until they are firmly fixed upon memory. If you wish speedy results, spend practically all your spare time in this practice. So any spare time you've got, well, you notice and you've got a bit of spare time, focus on your vision. Get incredible detail in your vision through your imagination. Live in the new house. Travel the world, stand on the stages of the world, inspire the people, actually live it, actually get your imagination and all your senses fully engaged in your vision, doing it right now. Because that is what is going to make it easier. So you're going to develop your willpower, but also by focusing on your vision, even with the same amount of willpower, you would find it easier to actually stay focused on these things. So not only are you developing your willpower, but you're also making it easy for that willpower to work because you're focusing more on your vision. So this last bit, by continuous contemplation, you'll get the picture of what you want, even to the smallest details, so firmly fixed upon your mind and so completely transferred to the mind of formless substance that in your working hours you need only to mentally refer to the picture to stimulate your faith and purpose. It gives shivers down my spine, the idea, and cause your best effort to be put forth. Contemplate your picture in your leisure hours until your consciousness is so full of it that you can grasp it instantly. And this is the line. You will become so enthused with its bright promises that the mere thought of it will call forth the strongest energies of your whole being. So if you can call forth the strongest energies of your whole being, you're probably going to be a bit more awesome. So people are going to love being around you. You're going to be just fun. You're going to be amazing to get along with. You'll be great in business. You'll be inspirational. And so if you can direct your, use your willpower to direct your attention, your focus on creating your vision in your leisure time, as well as putting the awesomeness in the sausage machine, invoking all power, using your willpower to focus on what you want and acting as if it's happening, this sort of stuff, then it will call forth the strongest energies of your whole being. You won't have to do anything like as much real hard work as you kind of are fearing at the moment. And it's really interesting. At the end of the day, it's like, is it helpful? If it's helpful, do it. If it's not helpful, don't do it. You know, if you don't find it helpful to think about these things in this way, don't. You know, I think it's helpful. I think it's helpful to break down even the simplicity of what Wattles is saying into weekly focus points. So this week, I'm just working. I'm working in the I'm working in the we. What I'm doing for myself is something that will benefit everybody. This is awesome. I can change the world. I can do wonderful things. My responsibility is, whenever I notice, put the great stuff in the sausage machine. Put what you want. Put the fact that you're doing it, put the faith that it's coming to you, put the faith in that you've already got it. Obviously, you've got gratitude in there as well. And that's it. You know, we're 30 minutes in. Let's see if we've got any questions. I mean, I don't know whether we do have any questions, but it'd be lovely to just wrap up now, because I think with something as simple as the Science of Getting Rich program, all you've really got to do is ingest the book. But it's so dense, there isn't even a single line in there that is unnecessary. It's so incredibly dense that even breaking it up into chapters isn't enough. So that's why I've gone for this algorithmic approach. If you look on the Udemy course, there is actually a 13x4 right at the end, call it the secret chapter, for how to actually get the most out of it. But that's the first time through. That's if you're really learning the book and wanting to do it in a week by week way, actually to learn the book. Once you've got the idea of what's going on, the one that I've done now, that splits it up into 1 week of perception, 1 week of thinking, 1 week of acting, for me, it's just been wonderfully good at making it easy to stay focused. So this week, it's chapter 9, how to use the will, and it's chapter 12, particularly the invoking all power aspect of that chapter, but it's really, it's about efficient action. And just have some fun this week. You know, a lot of people, when I notice that they're struggling with anything, it's because they're in the me. You know, it's because they're in their head. I don't have people struggling. When people are loving, when people are just loving loads, and when people are in their heart, they don't struggle. They don't have issues. When they're working in the we, they don't have issues. They don't have challenges. When they're working in the me, they have challenges. The script can only get you when you're working in the me. Can't get you when you're working in the we. Now, that's powerful stuff. It really is. And you notice, anytime you're struggling, your script will have got you thinking about your past, will have got you thinking about your future, will have got you thinking about your individual capacities, will have got you thinking about your ability or lack of ability, will have got you thinking with uncertainty about what's going on. It won't have you thinking about how great it's going to be for you to have changed the lives of hundreds of thousands of people, or to have brought great pride into your family and to all your friends. It won't be thinking about how you will have benefited other people. Anytime, well, you show me someone who's struggling with any aspect of their life, and I'll show you someone who's working in the me and not in the we. Okay, and it's 25 to 11, and I'm going to wrap up now. It's been a pleasure as always. I just love this. I don't know whether it comes across, but I just love this. I could do this all night and every night. Okay, where the baby's 10 days old, not sleeping, really, as anyone who's had a baby knows. But something's working, isn't it? You can probably pick up from my energy. You know, this is my 8th kid. I'm 46 tomorrow. Never been happier, never been stronger, never been healthier, never been more in control of the time, money aspect of my life. The ability to just, I don't have any work to do till the 3rd of June. You know, I've got some time with my family. I mean, this is my real work. My most important work is the metaphysical work that I'm doing now, what I'm doing when I'm thinking, I'm doing when I'm writing. But in terms of the ratio at the moment, I could probably flip it 80-20 the other way and I'd be quite happy. In other words, I could probably I'm probably spending about 50% of my time doing the stuff that I really, really, really would do always, and 50% of the time doing the stuff that I really, really love, but it's for other people and it doesn't quite totally necessarily align immediately with what I'm trying to do on the hundreds of thousands of and millions of lives around the world. But I just have to keep pinching myself because life's just so freaking amazing. Yet there's lots of things in it that aren't exactly the way I'd want them to be. I'd love my 18-year-old boy to. It's actually interesting. He did favourite the tweet I sent him. It's slightly complicated, and there's reasons why I'm sure he's not in touch. You know, there's issues with loyalty and stuff like that. But I did notice, did get a message from Twitter. I sent him a tweet saying, "Hey, buddy, it'd be good to catch up when your exams are done. Let's go out for a beer." And he did favourite. I got a note saying he favourited the tweet. So, you know, I'm excited about the future when I'm actually being able to see my children. You know, and you could say, well, you could be really miserable about that, and oh, you're not so great, Tom, you've still got these problems. That's the point. I'm not so great. I'm exactly as great as the greatest, no better than anyone else. I'm better than nobody, but I'm worse than nobody. I've got my challenges. No one gets away with it. No one gets through life without having any challenges. You know, you haven't had any yet, you're going to get some. It's just the way it works. I'm not wishing bad times upon anybody. I'm just saying that statistically, you're going to have things that happen around you that aren't what you would choose to happen. But the beautiful thing is, you can, through awareness, choose how you respond to these things, and that's where the fun starts. And you talk to people in their later years in life, a lot of them say, you know what, I wouldn't wish to have had any fewer challenges or to have less serious challenges. I'd be perfectly happy having exactly the life I led, exactly the same throughout my years. But the one thing I do wish is that I'd kind of been aware more and enjoyed it more and appreciated the fact that I was alive and healthy and I had love and I had the ability to love and I had friends and I had all these things, rather than getting dragged down in the things that were happening around me at the time. Anyway, that's probably enough. I love this stuff, and you have a great week, and I'll see you in the chat rooms. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.